People call Reform UK racist because of their stance on immigration, forgetting that there are black and brown British people being affected. Well, look, I think nowadays in the UK, the word racist or far right or conspiracy theorists are just words that are used to silence people who want to talk about the issues that they feel are negatively affecting their communities and the country themselves. The United Kingdom has been more than welcoming to millions of people around the world. Over the last few decades, especially the last couple of decades, millions of people have come to this country, have been allowed to come. Millions and millions and millions from all over the world. Yeah, Britain has been more than welcoming to many people. But at the same time, you have to look at things from the other point of view. Now, I read something like, please don't quote me because I'm paraphrasing, by the way, that I think more people have come to the UK in the last 30 years, I think it is, than the previous 2,000 years before that, something like that. Please don't quote me on that, I'm paraphrasing. But the point I'm trying to make is that the huge amounts of people coming at once is putting pressure on resources in a country as small as the UK. You have to remember, the UK is not the size of Australia, it's not the size of Canada, and it's not the size of the USA. So you have to understand people's concerns, which I totally understand where they're coming from. Many people are concerned about things like social cohesion. With such large amounts of people coming and moving over at the same time, how do you successfully integrate them into society properly in a short amount of time? It's pretty much impossible to do. So people are concerned about that as well. And I totally understand that. When people are not properly integrated into a society, especially the ones that they've chosen to move to, aka the country they've chosen to move to, the problem is that people live parallel lives to people around them. So for example, my family came here in the 1960s, and we've integrated into British life. We've been in Britain for a long time and we're glad to be here, and we respect British traditions and customs, and we would never want to ever change the UK. We like the UK as it is. The problem is since then, a lot of people have come over, unfortunately, and a lot of them have been very, very ungrateful. And that's just the truth. They've been very, very ungrateful to the UK for allowing them to live here and have opportunities that they wouldn't have back in their native countries. The question is this: why is it taboo, or why is it seen as forbidden to speak about these issues? I'll tell you why. Because our mainstream media and the two main parties have colluded together to essentially smear anybody as a bigot, a racist, or whatever for speaking about these issues. I'll give you an example just to prove I'm not waffling. So who remembers this story here? Gordon Brown, 2010, on his election campaign. Good old Gordon went up to Rochdale and he was confronted by this lady here. Her name was Gillian. So Gillian was a lifelong Labour voter. She dedicated her whole entire life to supporting people like Gordon Brown and Tony Blair. So Gillian had a concern about immigration. And you would think because she was a lifelong Labour voter, he'd be happy to answer her question. Nope. He scurried off, went back into his car, and forgot that his microphone was still on. And he called her a quote-unquote bigot. So you can see an example right there. Both main parties have sold out the British public. And on this issue here, the Conservatives have been absolutely treacherous. They said they were going to bring down the numbers, and they lied. They've increased it to numbers that this country has never seen. Now, there is a term that I could use to sum this all up, basically, yeah? A simple term, but I'm not going to say it because I believe this TikTok will get taken down. But some of you know what I'm talking about, but I'm not going to say what that term is. Now, you mentioned black and brown people. I can only speak for myself, but I will say this. I, as a hard-working taxpayer, law-abiding taxpayer do not want to be paying for people who have entered the country illegally. It's that simple. These people are getting five-star treatment at the expense of the British taxpayer. My family came here many decades ago. They came legally. They followed the process and came here legally, just like many others. For example, the Sikh community. The Sikhs are great people. Same thing. And many others came here legally and worked their way up. This here is my home. I bought this myself. Nobody gave me nothing. I had to work my way up from the ground up. So why should anybody come in here illegally get five-star treatment at the expense of the taxpayer? So yeah, look, vote for who you want to vote for. I think the whole system of politics in the UK needs changing. But whilst it's in its current state, vote for who you want. And yeah, thank you.